I wanna ride it until I inadvertently start a post-apocalyptic gang war, yeah. So we're at the middle point of the season, and in this episode, Joel and Ellie get into some serious trouble. I'm Max Lichtig. No, I don't have a lint roller. Here are all the details you missed in episode 4. So for 3 episodes, Joel has been talking endlessly about how the real monsters of the world are man. Well, last night we finally got to see what he was banging on about. Episode 4 introduced us to the Pittsburgh Hunters. I know what you're thinking, and no, it's not an XFL team. It's a group of brutal and territorial survivors. In the show, they're moved from Pennsylvania to Missouri, however, much remains the same.
Please help! Put your seatbelt on, Ellie. Your seatbelt on.
Are we gonna help him?
No, he ain't even hurt.
We get hints of their backstory and overall goals throughout the episode, but it's expanded upon more in the games. The deserted Kansas City quarantine zone we see is a result of the Hunters successfully overthrowing the FEDRA forces. They were much better than the Boston Fireflies, in part because they showed zero mercy towards anyone even associated with the former regime. Just like how we show no mercy to those who don't like and subscribe. Just kidding, we here at Screen Rant are just like the Fireflies. We believe in freedom. The freedom to smash that sub button, or else. In the game, we learned that the Fireflies attempted to join with the Hunters, but the offer was refused outright. The Hunters have no interest in taking back the country. They would just prefer to kill anyone who stumbles into their territory. They also refer to any outsider as a tourist, making them exactly like some comic book store employees I know. While the Hunters are taken right out of the game, their matriarchal leader is new to the show, and she provides some insight into the world around her. Firstly, it's obvious that it was her son that Joel stuck his new knife into, which means even more bad news for the pair. She is hunting Henry and Sam personally now, where in the game they were tourists like Joel and Ellie. It could be because they have some connection to the Fireflies or the previous FEDRA regime, but we'll have to wait and find out. There's not a lot of information about Kathleen. However, we can expect to see her character expanded upon in the upcoming episodes, and I can't wait to see her reaction to Joel's new blade that he's carrying around. Episode 4 ends with a real cliffhanger and an introduction to 2 new characters. Henry and Sam are a pair of brothers that have been hiding in attics and are now holding our heroes at gunpoint. These 2 are also in the PS3 Classic where they play the same role. They are being chased through town and team up with Joel and Ellie to escape the hunter-infested city. Potential spoiler here for the next few episodes, so 3, 2, 1, it doesn't go well for both of them. After a few close calls, they are finally attacked by a horde of ravenous porcinis, and Sam scores a bite on the ankle. The next morning, this new world's nature takes its course and Henry is forced to dispatch his own younger brother. Don't worry though, he doesn't have to live with it long. This game has zero chill. So if this show was just a playthrough of the game, Pedro Pascal would be killing it on high difficulty. While dialogue, characters, and even clothing are ripped right out of their pixelated origin, the show has even found the time to recreate smaller details. Part of the companion side of things in the game is Ellie's overall usefulness. You're often having her crawl through small ducts and holes to unlock doors and move obstacles. TV Joel has Ellie do this just after the intense ambush and shootout. Actually, doubling back on that shootout, Joel is using a bolt-action rifle to fend off his attackers. The same rifle is a pretty standard firearm in the game, and quite frankly the best one. Even that exceptionally dark scene where Joel deals with the wounded attacker is like those times in the game when a surrounding enemy falls victim to my poor impulse control. When Kathleen comes across Henry and Sam's former hideout, she also discovers the younger brother's love of comics and superheroes. When we finally see the young man, he is even engaging in a little cosplay. Points for enthusiasm, but that is not comic accurate. Video game Sam is also a little nerd, wanting to spend valuable backpack space on robot toys. Comics also play a role in the game as collectibles that can be discovered around the levels. One thing that remains the same, however, is Ellie's joke book. Her pun-filled tome plays a large role in the latest episode as she uses it to torment Joel and reignite his own brand of dad humor. She also busts it out occasionally in the game, generating more groans than a 20-year-old bloater after a night of fungal KFC.
What did the Confederate soldiers use to eat off of? Civilware.
Last episode ended with Joel and Ellie collecting a heavy haul of guns and ammo. Ellie even managed to score a small pistol out of one of Bill's many stash spots. She uses it at just the right time when Joel is being choked to death by a raider like me when I play Fallout 4 with a melee build. She only turns the man into a paraplegic, so it's left to Joel to finish the job. Both the gun and this moment are taken from the game, but with a little shuffling around. In the game, she picks up the gun and straight up slays the guy trying to drown her surrogate dad. Joel does give her the same lesson in its use, however, emphasizing a strong grip. The gun is like her knife in that it sticks around long enough to get its own fan wiki page. So of all the questions left at the end of episode 4, maybe the biggest and most disquieting is, what's under the floor? When Kathleen and her hunters are searching every house and building for the pair of killers that took out 3 of her men, she also discovers something that leaves her pretty scared. It looks like a large portion of the basement concrete has collapsed, and something's trying to get through. What creepy could be on the other side of that gurgling pile of rubble? Well, one option is that the vast underground network of mold is beginning to push its way into bunkers and buildings, meaning that even hiding behind walls and staying underground may no longer be enough for humanity. Of course, a stronger cordyceps means a stronger enemy. While the clicker is an iconic enemy of the game, the bloater is equally as disgusting and health pack consuming. Maybe a large infested mushroom zombie is about to come through that floor and throw pieces of itself at Joel and Ellie. Tasty. Okay everyone, it's time for a new section I like to call Max's collection of random things that weren't enough for their own entries. I think it's catchy. So last episode when Bill met Frank, he declared that there was no free lunch and that his home was not an Arby's.
Well, Arby's didn't have free lunch, it was a restaurant.
Now, when Joel and Ellie are on their road trip, there's an abandoned Arby's sign. Is Arby's sponsoring this show? Are they the official roast beef sandwich of the mushroom apocalypse? We need answers. Now, another one. When Joel is siphoning gas from old vehicles, he explains to Ellie that gas breaks down over time and is now so inefficient that he is getting poor mileage. Hey, everyone who complained about it last episode, are you happy now? Now, when they're in the woods, Joel seems to warn Ellie that there are humans out there that would do terrible things to the duo. That leads us to believe that he's hinting at the existence of cannibals. The two of them do meet a group of cannibals later on in the game in some of the creepiest encounters of the playthrough, and ultimately have to fight head of the cannibal creepers, David, a character played to perfection somehow by usually the least creepy actor in video games, Nolan North. So also in the woods, it's Ellie's first encounter with coffee and she hates it. She says it smells like burnt shit, and she's surprised that that's what all the Starbucks sold in the QZ. And as a lover and addict of quality coffee, I'm gonna have to agree with Ellie on her opinion of Starbucks. Also, we finally get to see who Jeffrey Pierce is playing in the show. He played Tommy in the video game, and in the show, he plays a guy named Perry, who's Kathleen's second in command. Who knows where his character is gonna go, but my question is, will he interact with Troy Baker's character? No, Pedro Pascal is probably gonna kill him first. Damn it. But we'll see. Episode 4 delivers on the action after last week's sensitive love story. And some people thought it was boring, but I thought it was freaking amazing. From the eerie forest camp out to the sudden ambush, this show continues to ramp up the tension and the grimness. I know we've been heaping praise on Neil Druckmann, but an equal part of the show's success is due to co-creator Craig Mazin, who has come a long way from writing this fart joke in Disney's Rocket Man. Next week, Joel and Ellie are lost in the big city and are being hunted by some pretty nasty people. And as Joel is so fond of saying, people are the worst.